I can't believe I didn't record the rotor. Holy shit. Alright, so I don't want to get blown downwind. I'm doing good. I'm in wave. I'm climbing at 6,700. Alright, let's I think we gotta start getting sorted out here. I'm gonna do an about face as soon as I feel plus 7 knots.
So the rotor was pretty crazy on tow, and I was happy to be off tow and in lift right away. But I hadn't flown wave since 1991, and what's more, this is an easterly wave, which is unusual for the presidentials. It's usually a northwesterly wave, particularly in the October time frame, which is why the camp uses this week. I hadn't really spent much time briefing for an easterly wave. We spent all our time prepping for landmarks and where the wave might be for northwesterly wave.
Yeah, if you want to come by on our left side, we'll smile for the camera.
So the lift I'm in right now is the Carter wave, which is a parallel and lower ridge line to the east of the presidentials. And the idea is we'll climb in the Carter and then we'll transition downwind through the sink or whatever we encounter to try to get to the primary wave behind Mount Washington.
Alright, if I go, I'm probably landing at Whitefield unless I get real high. Distance 15, bearing 298, tracking 216, so that's 90 degrees that way. It's kind of perfect. Alright, 10.5, they did it at 9.
Other pilots in higher performance gliders have reported that they turned westward from the Carter wave at 9,000 or 9.5 and had no issue, so I went for it, but then I was expecting to need to land at Whitefield downwind if things didn't go particularly smoothly or ended up in strong sink, because Gorham was going to be a hard slog upwind, and I'd have to cross the presidential.
We're downwind, we're going 90 knots. Only 200 feet down here, so.
I counted 4 mistakes in how I screwed up the transition to the primary wave at Washington. First, I actually didn't account for the downwind push to the south as I pointed west, and I ended up tracking southwest. Second, I went too fast during this transition because I was thinking I was going to encounter really strong sink as I exited the rising air in the Carter wave system. When climbing, the glider's sink rate is subtracted from the air mass netto or climb rate, so if you're seeing 6 knots up, you might see 8 or 9 down on the other side, because now your glider's sink rate is additive with the sinking air velocity. So that's kind of why I was pushing the speed a little bit. Mistake number 3 was I started fiddling with the variometers volume levels, because as I went faster, I was going 80 knots indicated airspeed, I couldn't really hear the varios as well, and I wanted to be sure I heard, rising air. Fourthly, and most importantly, because of my tracking error, I didn't hit the center of the primary, I hit the southern edge, I think, and there was probably only 2 or 3 knots lift there, and I didn't notice that my sink rate, which should be 400 plus feet per minute going 80 knots, dropped actually as low as 150 feet per minute to about 1.5 knots, and I was basically in 2 knots of lift or so as after I crossed the presidentials, and didn't even notice. So I just kept blasting through it, wondering where's the lift. So So the 150 feet per minute sink is now increased to 450 or so, which makes a whole lot more sense. And I'm out of the lift and in the sinking gear behind the primary, headed for the Pinkham or whatever it is wave system. Finally, I'm in rising air, and I think I'm in the main wave lift off of Washington, but I'm actually in something entirely different. I'm not even in the secondary lift, I think, of Washington. I think I'm in a wave bar from like this ridge that peels off to the southwest, south of Washington, towards, I don't know, Pinkham or Crawford or whatever it is. So I'm 2 to 2.5 miles southwest of everybody else in what I think is, it's actually a decent lift, but it's not what I think it is.
Dans la région de Farnham-Adreline, on a actuellement des activités de parachutisme dans la zone, veuillez quitter la zone par au moins 3 minutes.
Okay, we're back in. We transitioned to the primary behind Washington. 4 knots. Everybody. Let ourselves get moving toward that rotor edge a little more. So now we're going downwind a
I
little.
only suspect I'm in the wrong place because the primary should be closer to Washington.
Trend is up.
So I exit and aim for Washington's peak.
Kind of
And
level out a little into the wind so we don't get blown right out of the primary.
end up in the
Nice,
actual
highway
primary,
and ski area.
I think, anyway. And resume climbing.
Okay, I'm now in the primary wave. I was flying the secondary the entire time. I flew right through it when I transitioned downwind. Finally, huh? It took me forever. Great. What mess this is gonna be.
On est à la place qu'il y avait en feu thermique, mais pas grand chose, zéro.
$14,000, I think. I get a little overly concerned about this undercast that was moving in pretty fast from the Conway area, and I made it about halfway between Conway and myself pretty quickly. So, being my first time at this location, and 35 years after my most recent wave flight, I decided I would head back to Guam. B has only flaps and no spoilers, and it has a pretty dramatic nose down angle when significant flaps are in use, which makes it kind of fun. And during this week I was able to explore some of the capabilities of the glider, including full flap descents.
Yeah, Pony Yankee Sierra, I'm right over the top of you, 1,000 above.
Alright, let me know if you need station.
I'll slow down my descent here and let you go, I think.
Copy that. Storm traffic, turn on top. Turning left downwind.